Hey, it's Nora. Welcome back to Sleepy Bull. Come lie down. I want to tell you about a tax you've been paying for over a year now. Not income tax, not sales tax. This one doesn't show up on any receipt. It doesn't have a line item. But it's there every time you buy groceries, every time you fill up your car, every time you order something online. And tonight, I want to show you exactly where it's hiding. 1 year ago today, April 2nd, 2025, the president stood in the Rose Garden and announced what he called Liberation Day. The idea was simple: put tariffs on imports, bring manufacturing back to America, protect American jobs. The tariffs went up. And here we are, 12 months later. So did it work? Well, the average American household is now paying about $1,500 more per year because of those tariffs. $1,500. Not because Congress raised your taxes. Not because your state changed anything. Because the price of things you buy every day quietly went up. And most people don't even know why. Let me explain how tariffs actually work, because I think there's a really common misunderstanding. When people hear that the US put a 25% tariff on Chinese goods, they often think China is paying that money. Like a fine or a penalty. But that's not how it works. Not even close. A tariff is a tax on imports. And the person who pays that tax is the American company that imports the product. So let's say a company in Ohio imports steel from China. Before the tariff, that steel cost $100 a ton. After a 25% tariff, it costs $125. The Chinese company still gets their $100. The extra $25 goes to the US government. And the Ohio company? They pass that cost on to you. In the form of higher prices. On cars, on appliances, on construction materials, on the chair you're sitting in. I remember learning this in my first economics class and thinking, wait, that can't be right. Surely the exporting country absorbs some of it. And sometimes they do, a little. They might lower their price slightly to stay competitive. But study after study has shown that in practice, American consumers bear the vast majority of the cost. Like 90% or more. The tariff is a tax. And you're the one paying it. Now, the US effective tariff rate right now is about 11%. That might not sound like a lot, but let me put it in context. That's the highest it's been since 1943. 1943. We were in the middle of World War II. The entire global economy was in chaos. And we haven't had tariffs this high since then. Let that sit with you for a moment. We are living through a trade policy that hasn't been seen in over 80 years. And the thing about tariffs at this level is they don't just affect one product or one industry. They ripple. They ripple through supply chains, through pricing, through hiring decisions, through the cost of basically everything that crosses a border. Which, in a globalized economy, is almost everything. Here's where it gets interesting, or maybe frustrating, depending on how you look at it. The whole point of these tariffs was to bring manufacturing jobs back to America. Make things here, hire people here, buy American. And on the surface, that sounds great. I actually think the intention is understandable. Who wouldn't want more jobs in their hometown? But a year later, factory jobs in America have actually gone down, not up. Down. Companies didn't suddenly build new factories. What they did was absorb the higher costs for a while, then raise prices, then in some cases cut staff. Because building a factory takes years and billions of dollars. You need permits, you need land, you need trained workers, you need supply chains. Tariffs can go up overnight. A factory cannot. That mismatch, between the speed of policy and the speed of industry, that's where the whole thing breaks down. It's like planting a seed and expecting fruit tomorrow. The intention isn't wrong. The timeline is impossible. And there's another number that I think is really telling. Despite all of these tariffs, America actually imported more goods last year than the year before. 4% more. $3.4 trillion worth. The trade deficit, which the tariffs were supposed to shrink, actually grew by 2% to $1.24 trillion. So we're paying more for imports, importing more of them, and the deficit is bigger. I want to be fair here. Trade policy is complicated. There are legitimate arguments on multiple sides. But the numbers are the numbers. And right now, the numbers are saying that the stated goals of these tariffs have not been met. At least not yet. Let me bring this down to something you can feel. Because trillion-dollar trade deficits and 11% tariff rates are hard to wrap your head around at midnight. So let's talk about a washing machine. Before the tariffs, a standard washing machine in the US cost around $550. After tariffs were placed on imported washing machines, the average price jumped to about $650. $100 more. For the same machine, doing the same job, with the same features. Now multiply that across everything in your house. Your refrigerator. Your laptop. Your kids' toys. The screws in your furniture. The parts in your car. Each individual increase might be small, $10 here, $20 there. But they compound in a way that's hard to notice in real time. It's not like someone handed you a bill for $1,500. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. A slightly more expensive grocery run. A repair that costs a little more than you budgeted for. A birthday present that's just out of reach. And by the end of the year, it all adds up to that $1,500. That's not a number some economist made up. That's the Tax Foundation, Yale Budget Lab, and JP Morgan all arriving at roughly the same conclusion independently. There was a really interesting legal development recently that I want to mention, because it might actually change things. In February 2026, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that the law the president used to impose many of these tariffs, it's called IEEPA, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, doesn't actually authorize tariffs. So a chunk of these tariffs are now on shaky legal ground. Some are being restructured under a different law. Some might go away. It's messy, and it's still playing out. But what it tells us is that even within the government, there's no consensus on whether this was the right approach. When the Supreme Court says you didn't have the authority to do what you did, that's not a minor footnote. That's a fundamental question about how economic policy gets made in this country. So what does this mean for you, lying here tonight? I think it means a few things. First, when you notice that your grocery bill feels heavier, or that a new appliance costs more than you expected, or that a pair of shoes seems weirdly expensive, it's not your imagination. There is a real, measurable reason. Second, this probably isn't going away anytime soon. Even if tariffs are reduced or restructured, the supply chain adjustments that companies have made are already baked in. Prices that go up rarely come back down to where they were. And third, and this is the part one think about a lot, none of this is your fault. You didn't choose this trade policy. You didn't vote on specific tariff rates. But you're the one absorbing the cost. Every single day. I sometimes think about economics as weather. You can't control it. You can't opt out of it. You just have to understand it well enough to know when to bring an umbrella. And right now, the forecast is higher prices for longer. Not forever. Economies adjust. Companies adapt. New trade agreements get signed. But in the meantime, understanding why things cost what they cost, that's your umbrella. It doesn't make the rain stop, but it keeps you from getting completely soaked. And honestly, I think there's a kind of quiet power in that. In knowing. In not being confused by it. Most people walk through this economy feeling like things are happening to them for no reason. But there are reasons. And now you know one of them. Before we wind down, I want to tell you something that a professor told me years ago that stuck with me ever since. She said that every economic policy is a trade-off. There is no free lunch. Tariffs might protect one industry, but they raise costs for every consumer. Low tariffs might give you cheaper products, but they might also mean fewer local jobs. The honest answer is that there is no perfect system. And anyone who tells you otherwise is probably selling something. What I wish, and this is just Nora talking here, not any kind of expert opinion, what I wish is that people understood the trade-offs before the policy gets made. Not after. Not when you are standing at the register wondering why everything costs more. Before. Because when you understand the trade-off, you can make an informed choice about what you are willing to accept. And that is what this whole thing is supposed to be about, right? Making choices with your eyes open. Not stumbling through the dark wondering who turned the lights off. That's Sleepy Bull for tonight. I know that tariffs and trade deficits aren't exactly the coziest bedtime material. But I think you deserve to know where that $1,500 is going. Not to scare you. Not to make you angry. Just so you know. Because I really believe that understanding is its own kind of comfort. When prices go up and nobody explains why, it feels chaotic. It feels personal. But when you can trace it, tariff, import cost, shelf price, it becomes just economics. Just cause and effect. And that's something you can work with. So drink some water. Set your phone down. Close your eyes. And tomorrow, when you're at the store and something costs a little more than you remember, you'll know why. And that quiet knowing? That's yours. Nobody can take it away from you. Good night. I'll see you next time.